Our toll-free number, 800-951-0592. The website at allamericangold.com. And, they announced that big deal with the UK yesterday. And I'll just say this. Not that it wasn't. Hey, there's some good stuff in it, sure. Maybe it was just because it was the UK that they're not that. It's not that big of a trading partner, and maybe it was just easy. But if these are the great deals, then I don't know, right? I hope they get better. How about that? I hope they'll get better, but we'll have to wait and see how they all play out. They made a big deal about it, I guess. Okay, but the one thing though is 10% kind of looks like it's going to stay, right? So that is, there was a few exceptions, right? We don't get, it doesn't sell a lot of cars to us, but apparently they don't get the tariff. And I know the auto workers are a little miffed because there's no American parts in that. At least with the cars in Canada and Mexico, I think they had to be like 50% U.S. parts, but yet they got to pay a 25% tariff. So, but hey, we got one deal done. We got a meeting with the Chinese in Switzerland, and the president was saying that maybe, I like this, maybe we'll go to 80% tariffs. And I'll say this, he has said this in the past. Hey, I'm doing this by feel, right? I'm just wheeling and dealing here. He said that seems right to him, Jason. So maybe we'll get a reduction come Monday. The president seems to be feeling 80% right now.
No, let's see how those numbers roll out, Joe. Let's continue seeing it. Gold has been, sort of like in this little spot it's in, right, between 3,250 and 3,400, and even though it seems like as fast as gold has been moving, it seems like it's been here a long, long time, right, Joe? It just seems like it's been. I kind of like it because you don't want it to go straight up. If it keeps going straight up, there's no doubt that there's a big sharp pullback. I don't mind pullbacks. I love the little pullbacks we've had since the beginning of 2024. But I like this sort of the fast moving waters have slowed down, right, Joe? And usually if you've ever been river rafting, you have that little column in between the next white water that you hit, and it gets really rocky again and goes fast. So. This is, as we've been saying, Joe, great time to buy gold. It's been a great time to buy gold. It's always a good time to buy gold because you're putting something away, you're saving it and putting it in a place that you can use for later. And we've had the best example. We have the best example now, Joe, of holding gold in savings until you find somewhere else you want to put it, and that's the Texas coin we've been selling. That. How many times have I said it on the air, Joe? It's like, hey, save it and keep it there and save, because where else are you going to put it unless you have a good investment? And now we got the Texas coin, and it's a great 1-2 punch here at Patriot, Joe, because my feeling is when we get these accounts going, people are making their money in the Texas coin, then we're going to go on the air one day and say, hey, why don't you move some of that Texas coin out? And we got some gold you might want to buy and put it in gold. So we'll have the two-headed monster, so to speak.
You want to sign up with Texas? Listen, it's been overwhelming. You've seen it. You're looking at the coin now, all the way up to now 80 cents. Listen, we're going to see $2 in Texas here very soon. So jump on board, 800-951-0592. The really interesting Treasury Secretary, very upset today. So he made a big pitch with stable coin. We're talking, so here we are talking Texas, right? And the Treasury Secretary is talking about a stable coin, right? It's a digital coin that it's essentially tied to the dollar, Okay, that's what it's supposed. Almost, like the money market accounts, right? We can't break the buck, right? But in a digital way. He's counting on them to be a huge buyer of treasuries. Well, the Senate didn't see it that way. And now, here we go. They're circling the wagons about how are we going to sell all the debt. We'll be back after the break. 800-951-0592. A quick look in at the markets here today. The Dow's down 75. The S&P's flat. The Nasdaq's up 13. The 10-year note, here, 435, right? Well, almost really round up here, 436. Probably not where they want to be. Crude oil back above that $60. As I said, U.S. production has started to decline now. That's just not a price point that they're very interested in. Right now, gold's up 35, 33.42. Silver's up 24, 32.65. And here comes platinum, getting ready to take out 1,996. So congratulations, all of you guys that jumped on that platinum. I don't know when we'll get that again. We'll probably be a long time, but neither here nor there. A big vote in Congress did not go the way the Treasury wanted it to go. As you guys know, we got a lot of debt to sell. Looks like now some Republicans are starting to get organized, and there's not going to pass the bill that the president wants without essentially putting in the big tax for the rich. And we'll get to that in a minute. Let's talk about this first. So, here we are. We're talking about Texit, right? And they wanted, here's what this bill wanted. It was called the Genius Act. Well, apparently they thought they were genius. Establishing essentially more regulations in the stable coins that would, in essence, allow for these coins to be insured, right? Essentially allowing them into the banking system itself. They needed 60 votes. They didn't come anywhere close. Had 48. So not only did they probably not get any of the Democrats, they didn't even get all of the Republicans. They wanted to allow these stable coins. Now, remember, these stable coins buy short-term treasuries. That's kind of how they stay tied to the dollar. That's their deal. They wanted them to be able to be insured by depository institutions or state-qualified issuers that meet specific regulatory standards, which would include maintaining 100% reserve in U.S. dollars on short-term treasuries, publicly disclosing reserve compositions on a monthly basis, submitting to audits if their market caps exceed $50 billion, and various other quote-unquote protections, such as prohibiting misleading claims about government backing. So, hey, we aren't going to say they're government backed, but we're going to act like it. That's what they wanted to do. And the Congress said no thanks. According to Bassett, the bill represented a once-in-a-generation opportunity to expand dollar dominance and use U.S. influence and financial innovation. The world was watching while American lawmakers twiddled their thumbs, right? I get it. Listen, if I was him, I'd be mad too. By doing that, essentially he was like, man, we can get more of these stable coins. And Jason, at least we get somebody they would have to buy the debt.
Yeah, I think crypto has a lot to do with the future kicking of the can down the road, Joe. I think there's going to be something with the changing world order and money, and the dollar's still going to be a big deal. We're heading into a brave new world, for a horrible term to come up with, and everything I see is looking just like the book by Huxley. It's scary because those people don't carry on money in that book. You know, they have crypto, and we're being pushed fast into this world. And Joe and I are literally out there saying, "Hey, let's buy some crypto." You can't fight the river. So sometimes you got to flow with it, and the flow with it, it's better to know what the river's doing, right, Joe? You got to know what the river's doing and see what's happening. Stable coins are a way, essentially, of having dollars be 1-to-1 with these cryptos. It's an exchange in the crypto space, Joe. It's a digital exchange, and this is what they're going to use for these currency traders. They're not going to get rid of the ruble. They're not going to get rid of the yuan, the pound sterling, the euro. It's going to be itemized here in this space in the future where, Joe, we know what cryptos are. It's a controlling arm, isn't it? They want to put everybody into a place where they can decide with your smart refrigerator that you're not allowed to have a beer or a steak tonight.
Listen, this is getting really interesting. The Treasury Secretary now talking about liquidity reform. Remember, we played the clip the other day from Jeffrey Gundlach, right, saying, hey, everybody I talk to says we actually see rates going higher, not lower. And the reason being, there's not enough buyers for the Treasury market. And remember, what did he call it? Exotic or creative, right? Put it this way. Gundlach said, hey, the quantitative easing thing, yeah, that's not creative enough. That's not going to work. Could you imagine? We've got more. The Federal Reserve's holding more treasuries than the size of the U.S. economy, right? Because that's where it's going. Well, now the Treasury Secretary is saying that the risk is real. And this is what I'm saying. This is the problem. You know what? The stock market, listen, it's kind of come back, right? We're sitting at, 40, 41,000. Donald Trump yesterday, buy stocks, right? But nobody, you're missing it, right? We'll give you the smoke, and hopefully you won't be able to see what's beyond the smoke. And the smoke is, listen, he's just saying, straight up, higher yields and a steeper curve, even if a liquidity reform touted by Bessent as a high priority is introduced. Well, guess what? Phase 1 of that just got shot down. It is no big secret. Now, this is amazing to me. This is amazing. Because I don't hear this on the TV at all. It is no big secret that the Treasury market has faced greater challenges in recent years. It isn't? Well, they're acting like it's nothing, right? Or Donald Trump keeps yelling at Jay Powell to cut the rates. A huge fiscal deficit, stubborn inflation, the weaponizing of the dollar is deterring buyers unless yields move higher. Who said this? Some wacko? You know what? Some guy with a mic that does a show for the last 22 years? Am I saying this? Are these my words? No. This is the word of our Treasury Secretary. It's his words. He made these comments in front of the House Financial Service panel. Right? What is that? C-SPAN, right, Jason? Who watched C-SPAN, right? Nobody. Nobody watched a C-SPAN. I don't even know if it was on C-SPAN. Probably wasn't, right? Probably was too important to be on C-SPAN.
And then if you want to go to C-SPAN and find something that's actually really important said in Congress, sometimes it just gets erased and you don't get to see it anyways. A la traffic and speech.
One of the reforms, ready for this? The supplementary liquidity ratio. Okay, so what does that mean? That's a fancy word. Well, in essence, these big banks, remember Dodd-Frank, right? Remember Dodd-Frank, bail-ins, not bailouts. They're required to hold X amount of Tier 1 assets. Hey, Jason, what's a Tier 1 asset? What's the new Tier 1 asset? What's that one that starting July is going to be a Tier 1 asset? What was that called again?
Gold.
What was it? Oh, gold? Oh, yeah, that's right, gold.
It's been there for a while, though, hasn't it? It's been there for a while.
Well, they announced it 5 years ago. It just officially goes into effect.
So they were warning everybody that's not gold people, and they gave them a 5-year warning.
5-year warning.
That way they could say, look, you should have jumped on it. We gave you a 5-year warning. So if people get frustrated by not jumping in, they can say, I told you so.
So here was the thing. So just understand this. Banks get punished for not holding Tier 1 assets. And what I mean by punished, they aren't allowed to take their crappy assets and mark them at 100%. Okay? So if they were holding gold 5 years ago, they only could count that as 50% of the value. I don't know why. That was a dumb rule, but that's what it was. Now it's going to be 100%. You think the Treasury Secretary's worried? They now would want to penalize banks if they don't hold enough treasuries. Uh-oh. How much trouble are we in? Think about this. Hey, Bank of America, Wells Fargo, and it's not just them. Who are they really targeting? Deutsche Bank, Credit Suisse. Well, Credit Suisse doesn't even exist anymore, right? The big Chinese banks. So you want to do business, you need to hold this many treasuries. And if you don't, we're going to penalize you. Listen, we've got a huge demand problem. He said that banks are one of the smallest holders of treasuries. The largest holders are foreigners and non-bank financials. In other words, insurance companies, money markets, right? That's who buys them all. Banks are increasing their holdings, but they are far short of where the Treasury wants to be. Here's the problem. If we force the banks to hold even more, and they already said, listen, we're out of money, right? We can't even buy anymore. That means, Jason, they got to stop loaning other stuff so they can buy these treasuries.
Yeah, and it's been a while since I've talked about this, but one of the guys I watch on YouTube is Joe Brown. He's actually in Arizona and does a YouTube show. But he showed the model of what would happen in this coming future where the big banks will be allowed to – this might be where we're headed pretty soon, Joe, where the big banks will be allowed to print their own money. They won't need the Fed. And this is where some of these treasuries will go, Joe. The deposits will come in. The banks can then use those treasuries to borrow more money, and they'll be able to. I don't have it's been a while since I've done the material, but basically, let's just say J.P. Morgan Chase Bank won't need the Fed to step in. They can just start printing the money. And what that might be, Joe, is accepting treasuries when nobody else wants them, right? And then you can make take on $100 million J.P. Morgan in treasuries. And you can go ahead and print up $1 billion.
Listen, I'm going to tell you this right now.
It's the big bank's fault, Joe. It's not the Fed.
Listen, look at this. Think about these banks. We don't want to hold them. We can't sell them to anybody. Nobody wants them.
Just hold them. Just hold them there and print. Hold them there in print.
We'll be back. We'll be back. How high is gold going?
Yes, ma'am, by God.
800-951-0592. Patriot Radio News Hour. Joe and Jason on this Friday. Happy Friday out there. Listen, I want you to look. I know it's hard. It's hard. I get it. We're in this immediate. Look 6 months from now. That's not that long. We've got a problem. Jeff Gundlach on TV yesterday, and they all downplay it, right? Said, I don't know what we're going to do. Now, who is this guy? For some of you, I don't know who that is. His name is the Bond King. What does that mean? He's the Bond King. That means when it comes to the Treasury market, no one, and I mean no one, knows more than him. And he's sitting there saying, I don't know what we're going to do. We're paying $4 billion a day in interest. I think rates are going higher. Everybody I talk to thinks rates are going higher. And he's not talking about the Federal Reserve raising rates. No, that's not what he was talking about. Saying that the bond market is doing something it's never done. At the same time, the one indicator that has always nailed recessions says it's coming, right? Which is what? Longest inverted yield curve. Now we've got what? A steepening yield curve that's gone positive. That means we're going into a recession. At least that's happened every time. Maybe this time will be different. But he goes, you know what is different this time? Rates are going up. Listen, they cut rates a full point last year. And we went from a 3.8 10-year note to a 4.35. And the Treasury Secretary is now saying, we got a problem. So right now, banks hold 6% of their assets in treasuries. And I'm sitting there and I'm thinking about, okay, well, what kind of tweak are we talking about? 10%? What, we got to go to 10? I mean, Jason, that doesn't even get you $1 trillion. That doesn't even get you $1 trillion. That's like 3 months of spending.
It's quite a situation.
The math doesn't add up. It's a horrible situation.
You know, Joe, I'll just say this. When has the math ever added up with the way they do things? The math didn't add up in the 80s under Reagan. It didn't add up in the 70s.
Well, under Reagan, they had an advantage, though, right? Because they could hide with Social Security.
Yes,
right? They spent all that money
right.
and pretended they did it.
But haven't we been at the end of our rope since the 1990s? It just seems like we're always at the end of the rope.
Well, Jason's bringing up a really good point, right? Because we know, listen, it's gotten bad, really bad. You had the Clinton glory years, and then it's gotten bad ever since, right? But now we're at this point where the Treasury's saying, well, we're going to have to change. We got to do something. The Bond King says, I don't know what we're going to do. And then he started talking about things like, hey, we may have to just say, nope, 10-year note can only be 5%. We will not allow it to be higher. Oh, man, is that trouble. I'm just telling you. Why do you think? You think it's an accident? Every bank in the stinking world is talking about $4,000 gold this year. Guess what? Guess who did it today? Guess whose turn it was today? It's like, you know what? I think every day, haven't I announced a bank every single day talking about, well, gold could be $4,000, right? J.P. Morgan today.
Oh, boy.
Gold is going to be $4,000, and I love the headline. Going to be $4,000 by next summer, right? Oh, okay. Sure it is. Good call. But then when you read what the guy says, what he really said was, well, it's going to be $4,000 by next summer, or maybe even by the end of this year. Yeah, right. Because he knows, right? Right. Yeah, well, I don't want to say it, but I'm going to say it.
Well, you know what? That's a very safe, bland statement to make, because if gold is at $5,000 next summer, the summer, let's be clear, the summer after this summer, because the next summer is the summer that we're getting ready to hit, starting officially in June. So I agree with the $4,000 announced this summer, but we know what he means. He means next summer. But if gold has already passed by it in 2025, Joe, you know what he's going to say? He's going to go, well, I told you it'd at least be $4,000 by 2026 summer. I told you. Yeah. He's putting himself in a nice, safe position because they're freaking out. They're freaking out. They don't want to make gold forecasts. So they're saying it so that way when they sell their stock and other stuff to people, they can say, well, I knew gold was going up. Look at what I said in 2025. I knew it was going to at least be $400, but it's $6,500. Well, I knew it'd at least be $4,000.
I told you. I told you. By the way, gold's up 40, 33, 45. Last day here, $20 gold pieces, $34.95. I highly suggest you take and keep adding to your portfolio at 800-951-0592 and ETF demand. Here we come. The World Gold Council, who, by the way, just so everyone knows, the World Gold Council hates gold, right? It's put together by the banks. Global gold holdings and gold-backed ETFs, they went up a little bit by 115 tons to now total 3,561 tons, the fifth consecutive month of inflows. And oh, by the way, Asia and North America, they led the way, piling into gold. 800-951-0592. Jason and I are going to be right back after the break. 800-951-0592. $20 gold, $34.95. Man, yeah, gold's almost $33.50. So, you're right near a spot. Again, by the way, ETF demand, the second highest level ever. Something else to note. I want everyone to know, because it doesn't feel this way. You would think that net longs would be outrageous, right? Overextended, like everybody's long gold, right? The paper. Matter of fact, even the World Gold Council, gold is in the early innings. Touched $35 after some profit taking. Here's what they're saying. Net longs are currently around 570 tons. Now, that sounds like a lot, right? Just so you know, that's the lowest levels in over a year. Just to give you an idea, the record is 1,200 tons long. So, Jason, we're not even halfway near a record. So we are way below this. And why do I point it out? I simply point it out to let you guys know. Even the traders know. Gold is going a lot higher. We're nowhere close to, the trade. Hey, when everyone's going one way, you go the other, right? That sort of thing. It's incredible the health that is in this market, and the demand is just simply, it's incredible. And now they're talking about North America. Listen, they think that here in North America, there's another 500 tons of ETF demand that's coming. Yeah, get it done. Get it done. Get it done. 800-951-0592. Having said that, right, we've been talking a lot about Texit, right? It is a blockchain, digital, I guess, crypto, call it a currency, call it what you like. This is something where we love the setup of this company. We know the people behind it. It is going gangbusters. I don't need to tell you, 2 weeks ago, the coin was at 46 cents. It's now at 80. It's going a lot. The amount of people coming on board, it's overwhelming right now. And why? Why is it that they're doing it? And it really has to do with how open these guys are. You want to go and see everything about Texas, join Telegram. They show you everything. They put their financials on there every month. Every month. Here they are. You want to see our data mining operation? Let's give you a tour. You want to visit their facilities? Come on in. Tell me. Crypto's where you're doing that? No. They don't allow for mega investors. You can't say, I want $1 billion. No. You can buy the coin if you want. Right? On Bitmark, Dextrade. Right? Yeah, get ready. They're going big time here in a few months. But I didn't say that. You didn't hear that from me. I'm telling you right now, this is something where, they've got a great program going right now, the 3, 6, or 9, where you get a bonus share. You buy 3 mining shares. By the way, each share, they're $995. So I always say $3,000. It's actually $995 times 3, $29.85. But let's call it, that. You get 3 mining shares, they'll give you a 4th for free. So you're getting $4,000 worth of mining shares for $3,000. You do $6,000. They'll give you 2 shares for free. So you're going to get $8,000 worth. And you do the $9,000, which is what I did, what Jason did, right? What my wife did, what Jason's parents did, right? You get 12. Here's the cool part. Every day, you get coins in your wallet. Every single day. In less than 180 days. If you do nothing, I'm just going to call in. I'm going to buy one of the packages. Then I'm not going to do anything with it. I'm not going to tell anybody about it. I'm not going to recommend. I'm not doing anything. You'll have made your initial investment back in less than 180 days. Period. If you want to go out there and tell other people about it, they'll give you more power. Pretty cool. And then every day, more coins get put into your account. Now, a lot of you are like me. Man, I didn't really know a lot about crypto. And how does it work? How do I store it? How do I sell it? How do I do any of this? It's really a great setup. When you sign up, you're going to get a welcome package, a lot of information. A few weeks after you sign up, you're going to get your cold storage coin. And it's just so easy. You go to the restaurants and you got to scan that QR code for the menu. It's kind of like that. Scan it, you got the app. Your coins are in there. Just like that. They're in there. Now, what's complicated? Well, at some point, you will need to join a cryptocurrency exchange. It's like the stock market exchange. It's not hard. Guess what they want to know? Your name, your address, right? You gotta give them your bank account information because you gotta put money in and take money out, right? I mean, all the normal stuff, and you're set up to go. And here's the great part: if you need help, you just call us. You don't have to worry about it. You don't have to guess. I'm going to call Joe.
I'm literally answering questions from a Texas questioner. So on the other side of this break, I'll try to answer a few of the questions coming from Zach. And Joe sees me tacking. I'm busy answering questions. We'll cover those on the other side.
800-951-0592. Patriot Radio News Hour. $20 gold. $34.95. Of course, and then text it if you want to sign up. You call the same number. You call the radio. So all the stuff you normally can do. Listen, I've been talking to Bobby. Jason's been talking to Bobby Gray. He's the founder. Every Tuesday, he does, right on Telegraph, a big meeting. You can ask questions. He's there for you. He'll tell you exactly their plans. There's no secrets. What they want to do and how it works. And then, of course, you got us to help support it. And listen, I'm putting my reputation out here. I've been doing this 22 years. And this is something I don't do. But this is how much I believe in this company and this business model and how they've gone about it, how open they are. It's something where I think you are, and the cool part is it's early. It's early. This coin, I'm not saying, again, I'm not a financial expert and this and that, financial planner. There's, all the disclaimer stuff. There's risk in all this stuff. Listen, I think you're going to, I really do. At the end of 26, you may be talking about not adding 1 zero, adding 2 zeros, right? What is that? $80? Absolutely in that category. But, Jason, people have a lot of questions.
Yeah, they have a lot of questions. I've actually done numbers on the coins that I've minted so far. Yesterday I was at 1,600 coins. And I just, if let's say it goes to $16, I don't mint any more coins. Remember, you get a deposit of coins with your hash deposit. Your mining shares is what I call them, but they're hash every day. So every day you're going to check your account once you get your app up, and you're going to see your deposit every day. It's going to make you smile, knowing, hey, it's the one thing that I invested in, and it's putting deposits in. Where my coins are at, I think $16 is going to happen. That's their goal for 222 next year. They may hit it sooner, but let's just stick with 222, 9 months. I think my coins, and Joe could probably do the math. I don't have my calculator, but 1,600 times $16, I think it's like $25,000 or $28,000. That's for doing nothing else.
Almost, just under 26,000.
And some guys are, they ask, can you sell these mining shares? Well, everyone wants to buy these shares. Joe, if I wanted to sell my 9-pack, which is going to get you 12 shares, I said, you know what? I changed my mind. I want out. Will you buy my 12 shares for $1,000 each? What would you do?
Yeah.
You would buy those shares.
Let me tell you right now. I'm going to tell you absolutely you can. This is going to be a thing, I think, for a bunch of people down the road here. People may decide, hey, I've got all of these coins coming up. And start putting it out there. Buy my shares. Yeah. These are transferable. They have to be. The mine doesn't run out for 136 years. Let me hit
some of these questions. And Zach, I'm getting ready to send your email. I don't know if you're listening. What is the use of the coin? What does it do? I answer this simply. I'm trying to do simple answers. It's a blockchain. It's proof of work. So it is an actual cryptocurrency, and it's in it because the blockchain, nobody will just tack a computer and put 100 million coins out there.
I'll tell you this. I'm working with Bobby. We'll be taking Texas coins soon as payment here at Patriot. That will be an absolute thing that happens. A lot of small cities use this when they do like city bucks. They've been using Texas to do it. It's true.